At the same time, on another stretch of the frozen plains, a middle-aged man stood firm, eyes like a hawk cutting through the distance. His jaw was tight, his fist clenched. His voice was cold as he growled, "Chao Xing." This was Fong Long. Inside the Lord's hut behind him, his family, an elderly couple and a voluptuous woman, kept warm by the fire. Compared to many, they were living comfortably, thanks to the stockpile Fong Long had secured through earlier trades. Just then, Ji Jun reached out to him. "Boss, that brat remembered all of our names. We tried to trade, but he not only refused, he insulted us." Fong Long's face hardened. Ji Jun pressed on. "Boss, what do we do? That bear meat boosts stats like crazy. Without it, we're falling behind. That's going to cripple our growth." Suppressing his anger, Fong Long replied evenly, "I'll handle it. I'll figure out the bear meat situation." But when the call ended, his mind was blank. He had no real plan. Then a new request popped up. Lu Zhenjie wanted to add him as a friend. The name rang familiar, so Fong Long accepted. "Boss Fong Long, I'm Mushue's father." "Lu Zhenjie," the man typed quickly. Recognition flashed across Fong Long's eyes. He had once pursued Lu Mushue, only to be turned down. "So it's Uncle Lu. What's the matter?" "It's about that boy who offended you earlier." Now Fong Long was intrigued. "Oh, go on." When Lu Zhenjie explained, Fong Long smirked. "So he's nothing more than a driver. And here I thought he was someone worth worrying about. Does he really think he can turn his fate around in this world?" Surprising that Mushue stuck with him, though. He rewarded Lu Zhenjie with a chunk of beast meat in trade. The gratitude was instant. As soon as the private chat ended, Fong Long sent orders to the Three Heroes Association. Find Chao Xing's camp. Meanwhile, Chao Xing was oblivious to the looming threat. He was drowning in trade notifications again. Transaction successful. You received a skill book, Ice Cone. You lost fresh bear meat, blue, *5. Transaction successful. You received a skill book, Aurora Blessing. You lost fresh bear meat, blue, *5. Transaction successful. You received black iron plate armor, green, *1. You lost fresh bear meat, blue, *3. This time, he put up 500 bear meat, divided into 5,000 portions. In just an hour, everything was sold out. The auction market went quiet, then erupted. "What? Already gone? Damn, I didn't get any." At Chao Xing put up more. But there were nearly 40,000 survivors in Area 174, and less than a fifth had managed to secure bear meat. Chao Xing still had 500 pieces left, but he kept them as emergency rations or high-value trade stock. He announced in the channel, "I can't trade bear meat in bulk anymore. But if you've got something rare, blueprints, equipment, skill books, PM me." The chat instantly reignited with hope. "Good, he still has some left. I'm going hunting right now. I need bear meat this time." Chao Xing reminded them, "Don't be reckless. Night's falling soon. Go out tomorrow." The survivors nodded. Bear meat had ignited their hunger to explore and gather supplies, but tonight they'd wait. Closing the channel, Chao Xing checked his gains. 15,000 wood, 7,800 stone, 570 iron, 62 elemental crystals, 30 mithril, a green weapon blueprint, green armor top, and 2 skill books. The sheer wealth made him grin. Back on the tablet version, this would have taken me 20 days. Now I'm 20 days ahead of everyone. With such resources, he could upgrade his Lord Hut soon. But for now, darkness was falling. He returned inside. Lu Mushue lowered her head shyly when he entered, then whispered a warning. "Axing, Fong Long, he's ruthless. Be careful." Chao Xing was startled for a moment, then nodded. "All right, Saozi, I understand." He didn't take Fong Long's threats too seriously. At most, those gangs could try to track his camp and launch a raid. But with most survivors still stuck at basic level 1 or 2, struggling even to leave their camps, the idea of traveling dozens of kilometers to challenge him was laughable. Even if they dared, Yelena and the Frost Wolf Knight alone could crush them. There'd be no need for him to summon the Ice Plane Druid. Soon, with the elemental arrow tower he was planning to build, even Fong Long's whole group wouldn't stand a chance. That was the source of his calm confidence. Seeing Lu Mushue's lingering worry, Chao Xing reassured her. "Don't worry, Saozi. The camp is safe. She nodded softly, her eyes lingering on him. For a moment, she thought she saw a quiet strength radiating from his figure. Her cheeks warmed, and after a pause she whispered, "Axing, it's dark now. Let's rest." Chao-Shing agreed and returned to his wooden bed. Outside, the wind howled, and even under wolf pelts the cold crept in. He glanced at the temperature overhead. Current temperature, -28 degrees Celsius. No wonder the room felt like ice. He turned and saw Lu Muxiwa trembling on her bed. "Saozi, are you all right?" I'm fine," she said through clenched teeth, though her shivering betrayed her. Without hesitation, Chao-Shing pulled a thick bear pelt from his pack and spread it over her. The warmth was immediate, and gratitude lit her eyes. "Thank you, Axing." He only shook his head. "It's nothing." But then she looked over at him. "You gave me the bear skin. What about you?" "I'm stronger than you," he replied. "I'll move closer to the stove." "Don't worry." There was a silence before her soft voice came again, hesitant, almost shy. "Then why don't we share it? It's big enough for two. We be warmer that way." Her words faded into a whisper, and she turned away, cheeks flushed. After a pause, Chao-Shing nodded. "All right, let's put our beds together." Soon the two wooden beds were joined, the heavy bear skin spread across both. They lay side by side, wrapped in their own wolf pelts beneath the thick cover. The warmth was undeniable, though Lu Muxiwa's back stiffened nervously at first. Chao-Shing closed his eyes, letting the fatigue of the day take over. But later in the night, he felt a light movement. A hesitant arm slipped against him, and he turned to find Lu Muxiwa's face faintly flushed, her voice almost a whisper. "Axing, I'm so cold. Just hold me." He understood in that instant. Carefully, he pulled her closer. She trembled at first, then relaxed into his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. "Muxiwa," he murmured, "don't be afraid. As long as I'm here, you won't be abandoned." Her eyes moistened as she pressed her face against him. "I believe you." The cold night raged outside, but within the hut, warmth slowly bloomed between them.
Hey everyone, Firescale Audiobooks here. If there's a novel you'd love to hear more of, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi. Depending on your tier, I'll make extra parts just for the stories you're most excited about. Usually I can only upload 4 to 5 parts of each novel, but with your support we can go beyond that. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps more than you know.
The next day, Chao-Shing woke from his sleep. At that moment, he realized the bed beside him was already empty, with only the lingering familiar fragrance left on the pillow. He looked up to see a graceful figure crouched by the stove, preparing breakfast for the day. This scene made Chao-Shing feel somewhat surreal. Omicron knew that, having come to this world for 2 days, everything had overturned his imagination. Lu Muxiwa seemed to notice that Chao-Shing had woken up, a bashful expression on her face. "Axing, you're awake. Just wait a little bit longer. Breakfast will be ready soon." The first taste of passion left Lu Muxiwa with a trace of enchanting blush and a hint of naivety on her face. She seemed to have quickly assumed her role. Then, Lu Muxiwa brought a bowl of delicious-smelling meat soup to Chao-Shing. Chao-Shing tasted a mouthful and praised. "Tastes good, Muxiwa." "Really?" Lu Muxiwa giggled foolishly. "Then have some more." Chao-Shing nodded. Watching Chao-Shing finish it all in front of her, Lu Muxiwa was visibly satisfied. Moments later, she suddenly felt a bit forlorn. "Axing, last night's cold snap seemingly killed quite a few people again." Chao-Shing pondered for a moment and opened the regional channel. 174 regional channel. Online count, 3710/4/40173. Compared to yesterday, more than 1,000 people had died, although the mortality rate had decreased significantly. If people continued dying at this rate, there wouldn't be many humans left soon. Lu Muxiwa stated worryingly, "Axing, do you think we'll survive?" Hearing this, Chao-Shing nodded earnestly. We'll survive together. Not only will we survive, but we'll also live very well in this world." Lu Muxiwa, having heard this, nodded as well. Uh-huh. After finishing breakfast, Chao Xing stood up with renewed vigor. Compared to yesterday, Chao Xing now had one more goal, which was to survive in this world with Lu Muxue. He pushed open the door of the Lord's hut. 8 polar people in Yailina were already waiting at the doorway. As for Assam, he had woken up early to execute the task Chao Xing had issued, scouting the surrounding environment. Upon seeing Chao Xing emerge, the group of polar people greeted in unison. Good health to you, Lord. Good morning, Second Lord. Lu Muxue stood gracefully beside Chao Xing, awaiting his orders. Chao Xing nodded and said, Today your tasks will mainly be focused on constructing the territory buildings. Dazhuang and Erzhuang focus all efforts on upgrading the campfire. Sanzhuang and Sizhuang hurry up with building the sewing shop. Wuzhuang to Bazhuang, your task is to construct the blacksmith shop and build more small shelters. Understood. The 8 polar people immediately straightened up and nodded in response. Understood, Lord. Then, following Chao Xing's instructions, they began working with clanks and bangs. At this time, Chao Xing faced a problem. The territory lacked manpower. He needed to build many constructions like the blacksmith shop, basic level elemental arrow tower, sewing shop, etc. But with only 8 polar people, it was too much to handle. Chao Xing sighed. I have so many resources right now. It would be a pity if I can't convert them into war power. I'll think of a way later, see if I can recruit some civilians. Chao Xing shook his head and continued to examine the 2 new skill books and equipment he obtained yesterday. Ice Cone Skill. Consume a certain amount of spirit to condense 3 ice cones, dealing spirit *0.8 magic damage to enemies, with a 30% chance to cause a 1-second frozen effect. Cooling time, 30 seconds. Aurora Blessing. Condense the power of Aurora, attach it to the weapon, and during melee attack, deal extra spirit *0.8 light attribute damage to the enemy. Effect lasts for 60 seconds. Cooling time, 120 seconds. These 2 skills, one was an attack skill for Chao Xing, the other a blessing skill for Lu Muxue. Both were quite effective, especially the Aurora Blessing skill. Once Lu Muxue's attributes improved, it could greatly increase the output of the territory's troops. He continued to examine further. Black iron plate armor, green. Quality, fine. Armor, 13-15. Attached effecta, Constitution +5. Attached effecta, basic shock absorption, during attack, reduces knockback effect caused by 20 points of opponent's power. Not bad. The attributes of this plate armor are quite strong. It suits Muxue very well. As an Aurora Knight, resisting monsters was naturally the most important task. With that basic shock absorption effect, Lu Muxue could handle stronger monsters without getting knocked back. Then, there was the last scroll. Soldier's Standard Longsword Scroll, green after learning. It can be used to consume materials to craft weapons in the blacksmith shop. Required for crafting. Blacksmith shop level 1, iron *20, wood *2. Chao Xing thought, with the scroll I can mass-produce weapons and then create an armed brigade of my own. However, the brigade requires a large number of soldiers, and I'll need to build barracks and train them using training scrolls. And at the moment, I only have 8 polar people who need to work and can't be trained into combat units. So, this matter must be put aside for now. After examining these, Chao Xing felt a bit bored. By noon, Chao Xing noticed a figure appearing in the distant snow field, heading towards his camp. It was Assam riding the frost wolf. What surprised Chao Xing was that behind him followed 3 slender human figures, seemingly women. Chao Xing approached immediately. Assam, who are these people? Assam leaped off the frost wolf's back, then respectfully said, Lord, these individuals are refugees who fled from Ice Peak City. Ice Peak City? Assam nodded. Yes, Lord, it's a town thousands of kilometers from us, but it's been overrun by the alien ghost army. These individuals managed to escape from Ice Peak City. You were later beset by Snowland hunters. I saved them, but now they are homeless. Chao Xing thought, realizing they were natives of this world. Yes, besides them, the Blue Star humans, this world had quite a few native races too. Apart from the polar people who lived underground for years, there were humans living on the surface, the Azura tribe who revered machinery and gunpowder, the Ice Plain giant tribe who esteemed war and strength, and others. Assam, seemingly moved with compassion, suggested, "Lord, our territory needs more manpower. These 3 refugees can help us better construct the territory." Beside them, the 3 female humans looked expectantly. They seemed to know that Chao Xing was the decision-maker of this territory. So, the 3 refugees knelt down, respectfully, "Lord, please take in us, the homeless. We are willing to offer you everything." Chao Xing was taken aback, his expression partly strange. Even Lu Mushue beside him looked at Chao Xing expectantly, seemingly hoping he would take in these 3 refugees. Assam was right. He indeed needed more manpower. So, Chao Xing asked, "Can you cook?" The 3 refugees exchanged glances, then quickly nodded. We can." Chao Xing nodded. "All right, the task of cooking will be yours from now on. In your spare time, you still need to help collect resources and build the territory with other polar people. Are there any issues?" "No, Honorable Lord." Chao Xing, "Very well, then welcome to your new home." Chao Xing initiated the recruitment. Seeing their names, Chao Xing's mouth twitched again. They were all names of flowers, quite pleasant to the ear. But Chao Xing felt that these names were too refined and didn't match his style. So he directly pointed at one of the women and said, "From today on, you will be called Dahua, and she will be called Erhua, Sanhua." The 3 human women knelt down again and respectfully said, "Thank you for the name, Merciful Lord. You successfully named a subject. Dahua, loyalty has increased, current loyalty 75. You successfully named a subject. Erhua, loyalty has increased, current loyalty 73. A euro." Chao Xing glanced at their attributes. Subject Dahua, level 1. Attributes, power 3, agility 2, spirit 3, constitution 3. Talent none. Loyalty 75. Hunger level 41. A euro. Subject Erhua, level 1. Attributes, power 3, agility 3, spirit 2, constitution 2. Talent none. Loyalty 73. Hunger level 37. A euro. The loyalty of these 3 people was quite high, but their hunger level was somewhat low. It was clear that they hadn't eaten in a long time. So, Chao Xing said, "Go make a fire and cook some food for yourselves first. There is no cafeteria yet. The stove is inside the Lord's hut." The 3 nodded respectfully upon hearing this. "Yes, Lord." After they left, Chao Xing continued to think by the bonfire. These newly recruited people need a small shelter for resting at night. Then a dedicated cafeteria needs to be built for the subjects to eat. However, whether constructing or upgrading buildings require a lot of time. Chao Xing sighed as he looked at the busy 8 polar people. Still not enough manpower. If there were more people, we could cooperate and significantly speed up the development efficiency of the territory. Is there any way for me to recruit more manpower? Chao Xing couldn't help but recall his gaming experience on the tablet before. Inzernuzero.omicron. In it, the game characters also faced the dilemma of insufficient manpower. However, there were several solutions in the game. First, when your territory reached a certain level, it gained some prestige in the nearby area, attracting some nearby tribe residents or refugees to pledge allegiance. Second, dispatch troops like Assam to wander outside, with a chance to bring back some manpower from the wilderness. Third, go to the cities or taverns in this world and recruit some NPCs with special abilities by paying a certain reward. Fourth, directly launch wars to conquer nearby tribe residents and force them to pledge allegiance. In short, there were many methods not limited to the above. But obviously, none of these methods were currently applicable to Chao Xing. It was then that the 3 newly joined subjects, after having eaten their fill, brought Chao Xing some news. Hearing this news, Chao Xing's spirits immediately lifted. He looked at Dahua and asked, "Do you mean that you escaped from a camp of hunters?" And there are still many humans imprisoned in that camp. Dahua nodded. Yes, Lord. Those hunters are extremely cruel and inhumane. Many of our companions have already fallen victim to them. If possible, we hope the Lord can lend a hand to rescue them. Here, Dahua directly knelt on the ground, her tone full of pleading. Chao Xing was currently in dire need of manpower. Upon hearing this information, Chao Xing almost instinctively wanted to take action. However, he quickly suppressed his excitement and helped Dahua up. Do you know how many of those hunters there are? And what are their strengths? Dahua, who had lived in the icy wilderness for a long time, her face of pale western features seemed to be recalling something. Then she respectfully said, Lord, those hunters number about 20 to 30. Most of the hunters' auras feel about the same as the Lord's. Chao Xing pondered for a moment, then nodded. He was now a level 3 frost mage, meaning those hunters had strengths around level 3 to 5. After Dahua finished, she added, besides those ordinary hunters, they have 2 squad leaders whose strength is slightly stronger than the lady of the Snake Man tribe. In addition to that, there's a strongest captain whose aura is similar to Mr. Assam's Frostwolf. It was clear that Dahua was quite intelligent, with strong communication skills. Through her description, Chao Xing had already gauged the strength of those hunters. 1 level 10 hunter, 2 hunters above level 5, and over 20 hunters below level 5. If it were just relying on Chao Xing's previous strength, dealing with them might not have been possible. However, now that Assam had advanced to a second-order creature, and with the Ice Plane Druid recruitment scroll in Chao Xing's hands, dealing with these hunters was not an issue at all. Moreover, these hunters were said to be hiding some treasures. It was clear that Chao Xing was tempted. Assam also noticed Chao Xing's thoughts. Lord, the location Doan mentioned is about 7 kilometers from the camp. At our speed, it would take about an hour and a half to reach. Chao Xing nodded. The travel speed in the snow was not fast in the first place, but an hour and a half was within the acceptable range, and they could definitely return before dark. Lu Mushua also stood by at this moment and softly said, Xing, I'll go with you. Chao Xing nodded, all right. After speaking, he gave Lu Mushua the black iron plate armor, green, and the Aurora Blessing skill book. Watching the equipment and skill book in her hands, Lu Mushua gratefully glanced at Chao Xing once again. She clearly understood the importance of these equipment and skill books at the current stage. Lu Mushua didn't say much, silently clicking on the skill book to learn, and then putting on the armor. Chao Xing saw this. Lu Mushua was now wearing black armor on her upper body, with her long bare legs below, covered by a thick wolfskin coat. This attire had a rather intriguing style. Chao Xing himself also clicked to learn the Ice Cone skill, and then took out the Ice Plane Druid recruitment scroll. The system prompt appeared. Do you want to use the Ice Plane Druid recruitment scroll to recruit a druid with level 15 elite strength? Ice Plane Druid occupies 3 populations. Chao Xing directly clicked yes. Meanwhile, in front of Chao Xing, a hexagram array with a diameter reaching 5 meters, larger than before, appeared. The hexagram array erupted with bursts of intense light. Then, a powerful and ancient aura emerged. Through the light screen, Chao Xing could see a humanoid creature standing at 2.5 meters tall with a robust build. Just standing there without moving, it emanated a frightening pressure. After the light screen faded, everyone could finally see the full appearance of the creature. It was a being covered in snowy white fur, with sharp bear claws and thick limbs, yet it resembled a human form. His face, covered with hair, revealed a look of devoutness. Then he placed his right hand on his chest and slightly bowed, saying, Nature's power will guide me forward. Guardian Andrew, reporting to you. A euro. At this moment, the towering Ice Plane Druid gave a slight bow to Chao Xing. In front of Chao Xing, the other party's attributes appeared. Ice Plane Druid. Andrew. Race, Druid. Level, 15 1073/50,000. Second Order Elite Level Creature. Life Value, 3,990. Attack Power, 344, 351. Attributes: Power 172, Agility 163, Spirit 165, Constitution 195. Skills: Rip Claw Strike. Swing sharp claws to deal 130% attack damage to the enemy. Wildness Mark. When the attack hits, reduces 50 points of the target's armor and marks the target's position. Giant Bear Form. Transforms into an ice plane giant bear. Increases all attributes by 30% and gains additional Wildness Roar and Fierce Assault skills. Giant Bear Form lasts for 60 seconds. Cooling time 180 seconds. Talent: Nature Affinity. Increases life recovery speed by 20% when in nature. Hunger level: 65. Loyalty: 63. Such strong attributes. Chao Xing was amazed. This druid, worthy of being a level 15 elite creature, possessed terrifying attributes. Moreover, the most terrifying was the skill behind Giant Bear Form. In this state, the druid was most formidable. Undoubtedly, Andrew was the most powerful creature he summoned. Even after advancement, a psalm would be no match. Chao Xing nodded in satisfaction. However, the druid seemed to also see Chao Xing's strength. In his perception, Chao Xing was too weak. He could be slapped to death easily. Such a lord couldn't compel him to offer full loyalty. Chao Xing naturally also saw the indifference in Andrew's eyes and his loyalty of only 63. It was apparent that this druid was not fully submissive to him. Nonetheless, Chao Xing did not mind, but instead wore a smile of interest. He suddenly said, "Andrew, as my subject, you will enjoy the sacred blessing. Now, I empower you with strength." Under the druid's puzzled gaze, Chao Xing cast a glance at Yelena. Yelena understood and cast the scale armor and Snake Man Tribe Frenzy statuses on Andrew. At that moment, a hint of astonishment flickered in Andrew's calm eyes. He felt an additional surge of restless energy within, making him more agile and powerful. Omicron. This enhancement nearly matched the effect of his Giant Bear Form skill. Moreover, the most terrifying part was that it was a permanent enhancement. Lord, what is this blessing effect? It is so powerful, Andrew exclaimed in shock. Chao Xing looked him directly in the eyes and solemnly said, "This is a reward for your loyalty. Only my subjects can enjoy this blessing effect." The shock in Andrew's eyes intensified. Before he could speak, Chao Xing continued, "Andrew, the blessing is not over yet. Let me further bestow the blessing upon you." With that said, Chao Xing cast Ice Healing Skill and Ice Armor Skill again. Green numbers of +12. +12 appeared above Andrew's head. At this moment, Andrew's gaze had transformed from astonishment to utter shock. "Lord, your power is the most formidable I've ever witnessed. It is so mysterious and grand. Andrew sincerely thanks you for your blessing." With these words, he gave a deep bow to Chao Xing. A system prompt appeared. "You helped the subject. Andrew enhances strength. Loyalty has increased. Current loyalty, 74. Instantly increased by 11 points of loyalty." A gleam of joy appeared in Chao Xing's eyes. Still pretentious. See how I conquer you." This move completely subdued Andrew, and his gaze towards Chao Xing was filled with awe. At this moment, Chao Xing suddenly recalled a new Aurora Blessing skill that Lu Mushua learned, also a buff skill. Chao Xing said, "Mushua, cast an Aurora Blessing on Andrew." Lu Mushua obediently complied, although Andrew had no weapon. When the colorful Aurora merged into Andrew, he raised his claws in surprise, seeing them enveloped in a layer of Aurora. Chao Xing nodded in satisfaction, just as he expected. Now that the druid was summoned and the buffs were in place, everything was nearly ready. Just as he was about to set off, a system announcement appeared. System announcement. All survivors, please note that you have survived the second day of the Iceal Age and adapted to the rhythm of this world. The level ranking list is now open. Level ranking list. The top 100 survivors in each zone to reach level 10 will receive ranking rewards. Meanwhile, all survivors across Blue Star who had traversed to this world heard the system prompt sound. Damn, the level ranking is open. Only 100 people in each zone can get rewards. This competition pressure is a bit high. What are the ranking rewards? The second system prompt appeared. Level ranking rewards updated. Ranks 151. Reward white bread *20, medical bag *2, small resource pack *1. Ranks 50, 21. Reward beast meat *10, medical bag *4, small resource pack *2, white weapon *1. Ranks 20 to 11. Reward beast meat *20, medical bag *5, small resource pack *3, black iron treasure box *1. Ranks 10, 4. Reward beast meat *40, medical bag *10, medium resource pack *1, optional green weapon *1, basic power heart *1. Rank 3. Reward beast meat *50, medical bag *10, medium resource pack *2, random second order creature recruitment coupon *1, optional green weapon *1, basic power heart *1. Rank 2. Reward beast meat *100, medical bag *10, medium resource pack *3, random second order creature recruitment coupon *1, optional blue weapon *1, basic power heart *1. Seeing these rewards, all the survivors globally were momentarily stunned. Then, there was a strong commotion. Huang Huihong, damn. So many rewards, and there's food and medical bags. This is so awesome. As long as you make it to the top 100, you won't worry about resources in the short term. Li Yongqi, the top 10 can even choose a weapon reward, and it's a green weapon. Jin Yu, brothers, you're focusing on the wrong thing. The most valuable is the basic power heart at the end. It allows survivors who reach level 10 to advance. Hu Wenwen, the random second order creature recruitment coupon is also very terrifying. Okay, you could directly summon such a powerful creature. This ranking reward is too fierce. Even Xiao Xing couldn't help but be surprised by the rewards for the top 3. You know, even he himself did not have a piece of blue equipment. However, when he saw the first place reward, his breathing became slightly rapid. Oh my! A leader-level recruitment scroll. Xiao Xing's eyes widened. In this world, whether they are recruited creatures or wild creatures, they're graded based on their aptitude. Aptitude represents their strength and also their growth potential. Ordinary, elite, boss, leader, commander. The stronger the aptitude, the more attributes are gained with each upgrade. Creatures like the Ice Plane Druid, being an elite-level creature, have attributes 30% stronger than ordinary creatures and gain more attributes with each level up. And now, this first-place reward outright skips the boss level and directly rewards a leader-level creature recruitment coupon. That's truly terrifying. At this moment, Xiao Xing decided to go all out and strive to get the first-place reward. System announcement. Rankings are being calculated. Soon, everyone will be able to check their ranks on the leaderboard. At this time, the rankings were not yet announced. However, among the global survivors, most who had confidence in themselves had already begun to take action. At this moment, Fong Long, who was moving outside in the snow, also heard the system prompt. He opened the team channel of the Three Heroes Association. You all saw it. The leaderboard rewards are plentiful. Even making it into the top 100 gets you a lot of supplies. Moreover, this time, we just need to compete with other survivors from District 174, so the pressure isn't too great. At this moment, the other survivors from the Three Heroes Association also wore confident smiles. Fong Long continued. So this time, our Three Heroes Association must strive to secure several spots in the top 10, and I will aim for the first place. The survivor named Ji Jun said, Boss, is there anyone in District 174 who can compete with you? Fong Long pondered for a moment and replied, There are some. From what I know, in Xiangjiang City, there are several associations, and they are quite powerful. Omicron Nuzero. In this world, they can further utilize their specialties. Wu Xinghu, Zhou Bo, these people should all be my rivals. After Fong Long finished speaking, Ji Jun nodded in understanding. Boss, what about Xiao Xing? However, Fong Long sneered him. Just a lucky guy. I haven't even considered him. After hearing this, Ji-jun also nodded. Then, they both ended the communication. Meanwhile, survivors who had descended globally into this world began taking action. Wu Xinghu, Brothers of Tiger Hall, go all out. We must secure more spots. Zhou, Brothers of the Sky Blade Association, speed up. Only by reaching level 10 before the end of the novice protection period can you get rewards. In no time, survivors across the world had mobilized. At this time, in Chao Xing's camp, Lu Muxue also heard the system announcement and looked at Chao Xing. Although she didn't know how Chao Xing compared to other survivors. Judging by the past few days, even if Chao Xing wasn't first, he could at least make it into the top 10. Chao Xing wasn't aware of Lu Muxue's thoughts. Now, besides developing his territory, he also had another goal, and that was to claim the first place on the leaderboard. Chao Xing looked at Assam and Andrew and directly ordered, "Then, let's set off now. Target, the hunter camp 7 kilometers away." Assam took the lead, drawing his long sword and proclaiming loudly, "Charging for the Lord is my life's mission." Andrew, standing by, also said devoutly, "I wish to fight for the balance of nature." After the words fell, Chao Xing and Lu Muxue, with Assam and Andrew, headed out of the camp. As for Yailina, she was left behind to guard the territory. Crunch! The sound of footsteps of 3 people and a wolf continued through the snow. A frost wolf knight, a sharp-clawed druid, followed by 2 humans. This strange combination walked through the endless snowy plains. Over an hour later, they arrived near the location mentioned by Dahua. From afar, roughly a kilometer away, they indeed saw smoke rising in the snowfield ahead. Beneath the smoke, Chao Xing saw a large camp, sparsely dotted with over a dozen tents. This was a sizable hunter camp. When Chao Xing approached, a system prompt appeared in front of him. Hunter Camp, Special Zone. Danger Level, Extremely Dangerous. Note, this is a camp of fallen believers in the evil god, with extremely twisted and frenzied mindsets, posing an extreme danger to you currently. Please leave quickly. Although the system prompt indicated these hunters were strong and that Chao Xing was no match for them, it did not take Andrew and Assam into consideration. Chao Xing didn't back down. He immediately urged Andrew and Assam to advance at full speed. He and Lu Muxue followed behind. Chao Xing said, "Muxue, just stay beside me and leave the fighting to them." Lu Muxue replied softly, "Okay, Axing." A few minutes later, they approached the camp. Meanwhile, a patrolling hunter at the camp noticed Chao Xing and the others. He immediately cried out, "There's a situation. It's an enemy raid. Enemy raid." Hearing the shout, a large number of hunters swarmed out of the tents. They all wore similar attire, thick snow garments, and swirl masks resembling those of Uchiha Bido, but blood red. A dagger hung at their waists, and a wooden longbow slung across their backs. Chao Xing glanced casually and saw the attributes of these hunters. Hunter LV4. Race, Human Clan. Attack Power, 3135. Life Value, 430. Skill, Cutting. Hunter Scout LV6. Race, Human Clan. Attack Power, 5447. Life Value, 660. Skill, Flying Knife Throw and Raid. The strength of these hunters was about the same, consistent with Dahua's intelligence. So, Chao Xing directly said, "Assam, Andrew, go ahead." Assam held up the long sword that emanated aurora to his chest, controlling the frost wolf beneath him to rush forward swiftly. For glory! Thump! Thump thump! Andrew ran on all fours like an animal. The main meeting punishes these destroyers of nature. The 2 powerful second-order beings charged into the midst of the hunters with force. Then they launched a powerful onslaught. Bang! Andrew dashed to a hunter's side, and with crazed eyes, swung his sharp claws. Splat! -395. -6. Exaggerated damage numbers floated up. The hunter's body was immediately sliced into 4 segments, with blood scattering like petals on the snow. Chao Xing saw a system prompt emerge. Not only did Chao Xing hear the system prompt, but Lu Muxue beside him also heard it and asked hesitantly, axing, I seem to have gained experience points too. But I didn't help fight, did I? Chao Xing thought for a moment and quickly understood the reason. Although Lu Muxue did not participate in the battle, she applied the Aurora Blessing status to both Andrew and Assam, which added extra damage. This meant that the system considered Lu Muxue as having participated in the battle. Chao Xing also applied Ice Armor skill and Ice Healing skill, which also counted him as a combat participant. Including Yelena, who was guarding the territory, she also provided a buff to the druid. Omicron no Omicron da. A look of joy appeared on Chao Xing's face. This feature was fantastic. Muxue, this is a good thing. In this way, as long as we recruit strong followers, we can just apply statuses to them and not worry about the rest. At that time, we can send all these followers out while upgrading from within the territory. What was more crucial was that this greatly increased their chances of getting the leaderboard rewards. Lu Muxue listened, and a slight look of joy appeared on her face. Then she simply stayed by Chao Xing's side. The two of them watched the camp as a one-sided slaughter unfolded. At this moment, Assam directly rushed into the center of the camp, facing the onslaught of 7 or 8 hunters alone. There were also 2 archers beside them. However, their arrows hit Assam's armor, creating 2 extremely small damage numbers on it. -1. -1. The hunter's attack power was still okay. At least it could cause a bit of damage to Assam. But the damage was so low, it could be said to have broken the defense, yet not really. The next second, a series of green +10s appeared above Assam's head. The hunters were completely dumbfounded. How the hell was this supposed to be played? They dealt less damage than the opponent's health recovery, which was too shameless, wasn't it? I want to report. Someone is cheating. But Assam didn't care about their thoughts. With a loyalty of 95, he would put Chao Xing's orders first, and that was to kill all these hunters. Puff, puff, puff. The Frost Wolf's swordsmanship danced with roaring momentum. Every swing of the sword would inevitably take the life of a hunter. The Frost Wolf also carried him, continually leaping and changing positions within the camp. The Second Order Assam was simply invincible. Your territory member Assam has killed a hunter LV4, gaining 40 experience points. You have gained 20 experience points. €1. And Andrew beside them was even more terrifying. It directly transformed into a demolisher state, toppling tents with great force. Hunters hiding inside were easily pulled out by Andrew and then slapped to death with one claw. Under normal circumstances, Andrew exuded a sage-like calmness and wisdom. But once in battle, it was like a berserk beast. Roar. After a terrifying roar, Andrew pinned down a level 6 hunter scout and shattered its head. Chao Xing and Lu Muxue kept seeing the gaining experience points prompts. Not long after, a white light appeared on Lu Muxue's body. She had leveled up. Leveling from level 1 to 2 was simple, requiring only 100 experience points. But from 2 to 3, it required 1,000 experience points. Each level up beyond that required an additional 1,000 points. And at that moment, from within the innermost tent of the camp, a dark figure suddenly rushed out. It seemed to know the terror of Andrew and Assam, and as soon as it ran out of the camp, it charged through the snow without any intent to fight. Chao Xing glimpsed at its attributes. Hunter Captain LV10. Race, Human Clan. Attack Power, 172-184. Life Value, 1540. Skills, Cruel Cutting, deals twice 80% attack power damage to the enemy. Adds level 1 bleeding effect. Greased Feet, increases move speed by 30% during escape. €1. Oh no, that's the captain from inside. Chao Xing shouted immediately. Don't let him run away. This guy, although just a level 10 ordinary monster and hadn't advanced, that Greased Feet skill was really outrageous, an escape artist. At that moment, Andrew suddenly roared. Roar! He transformed from his humanoid form into a giant bear covered in white fur and charged like a cannonball. Boom! The explosion of speed in an instant even surpassed that of the polar bear. It was the very skill of Andrew, giant bear form. Thud, thud, thud. The ground trembled continuously. Under the giant bear form, Andrew's all attributes increased by 30%, along with Yelena's Snake Man tribe frenzy, which added another 20% to move speed. Andrew easily caught up with the fleeing hunter captain. Then, in its terrified gaze, Andrew let out a mighty roar. Roar! The giant bear paw slammed down. Splat! The hunter boss was directly crushed into a pile of mush. The cold snow now had a bright flower constructed from blood and flesh. This gruesome scene made Lu Mushue's face turn a few shades paler. Yet she bit her lip, forcing herself to accept it all, because she knew such scenes would be very common in future battles. Chao Xing heard a system prompt in his ear. Your territory member. Andrew has killed a hunter captain LV-10 and gained 300 experience points. You gained 150 experience points. At this moment, a white light rose from Chao Xing's body. Your level has increased, current level, 4. This level up has granted Power +2, Agility +2, Spirit +4, Constitution +2. Chao Xing felt overjoyed, leveled up again. A surge of energy welled up from within him. His mind became clearer and his body more energetic. Woohoo, this feeling of leveling up is really nice. Soon, Assam also resolved the battle on his side. All the hunters in the camp had been slaughtered by them. The ground was littered with broken limbs and bodies. The system prompt appeared. You have destroyed a hunter camp, territory reputation +50. Warning. Due to completing a high difficulty raid, based on your strength assessment, you received an extra reward. Phantom Assassin Recruitment Scroll, blue, *1. Oh, another blue recruitment scroll? Chao Xing's eyes lit up with joy as he checked the scroll's attributes. Phantom Assassin Recruitment Scroll, blue, can be used to summon a Phantom Assassin with a level 20 elite strength. Wow, a level 20 elite creature, even stronger than Andrew. Chao Xing's eyes were filled with intense shock, then ecstasy. Clearly, this recruitment scroll could boost his strength significantly again. However, he didn't summon it right away, but instead led Lu Mushue towards the camp. Let's clean up the battlefield first. The two then entered the camp. The sight before them was one of chaos, with even the bonfires having been extinguished. Chao Xing approached a hunter's body, just about to reach out. The system prompt appeared. Humanoid creature, cannot be decomposed. Chao Xing's mouth twitched. What did the system take him for? He didn't intend to decompose anything. This was slander. Despite that, he still reached out and searched the hunters. Acquired hunter's mask, white, *1. Acquired first-tier soldier training book, white, *1. Acquired coins, *15. A mask? Chao Xing wondered, and then checked the attributes. €1. Chao Xing was taken aback for a moment, realizing that the mask was still a faction item. Shaking his head, Chao Xing put it into his backpack, as it wasn't worth it for only 3 points of spiritual power. He continued to check another item. First-tier soldier training book, white. This training book can turn ordinary people in the territory into first-tier soldiers with combat power. Chao Xing's eyes moved slightly, as this was the early-stage training book. It could train Dazhuang and Erzwang into combat units, and they could gain experience through battles later. Coins *15, a universal currency on the continent Euro. Using the coins, you can purchase some supplies or recruit followers in the towns of this world. There wasn't much to say about this. Money could make the world go round. When you had enough coins in hand, you could even purchase some good-looking female slaves in the town. Then, Chao Xing began to rummage through the bodies. Obtained hunter's mask, white, *1. Obtained coins, *13. Obtained first-tier soldier training book, white, *1. After searching the bodies, Chao Xing searched inside the camp tents. However, in those tents, he saw a scene that made him feel nauseous. In every corner of the tent, there were some frozen corpses with their limbs and heads cut off separately. The torso of the corpse was placed on a strange pattern, The limbs were arranged in 4 positions, and the head was placed on the chest. It resembled a sinister ritual. Although he knew that the hunters were a group of mad people who believe in the evil god, this inhuman scene still made Chao Xing queasy. As for Lu Muxua nearby, her lips turned pale. Damn, these hunters are really brutal. Chao Xing suppressed his nausea and continued searching inside. He casually collected the supplies he saw. Obtained wood *17, obtained stone *6, obtained iron *3, obtained food *7, obtained inferior wine *3, obtained coins *71. Then, he walked out of the tent and continued to search the next one. Inside was another unlucky person who had been dismembered. Chao Xing continued to search for supplies in every corner. Obtained stone *7, obtained wood *17, obtained iron *6, obtained coins *62, obtained moldy nuts *3, obtained hard bread *5, obtained coins *34, obtained. Lu Muxua, who followed behind, watched in amazement at Chao Xing's particularly meticulous looting actions. It was like locusts passing through, not letting go of anything. Soon, Chao Xing finished searching all the tents in the camp. Excluding other resources, Chao Xing collected a total of 1,072 coins here, plus 9 first-tier soldier training books. Omicron New 0. Omicron. Chao Xing was delighted because this money was enough for him to purchase a good-looking female slave to serve him and Lu Muxua back in the territory. No, why do I keep thinking about female slaves? Chao Xing quickly shook his head. Meanwhile, Andrew also came over. Lord, I found something different on that fallen guy. Chao Xing turned his head, puzzled, and asked, What is it? Andrew held an ancient bronze key in his hand and directly handed it to Chao Xing. Obtained Goblin Treasury Key *1. Holding this key allows you to go to coordinates 32141, 23513, 3521 to open the Goblin Treasury. Note, this area may hide some special dangers. Please proceed with caution. Chao Xing responded, Damn, Goblin Treasury. In this world, the goblins were a weak race, but they were exceptionally good at digging and treasure hunting. Therefore, the Goblin Treasury often contained some precious treasures. However, the system also warned that the place was dangerous. Chao Xing opened the small map, glanced at the coordinates recorded on the key. It was about 40 kilometers away from him, not too far. But without the creation of transportation tools, a day's time wouldn't be enough to get there. It seems this treasury can't be opened anytime soon. Chao Xing shook his head and first put the key into his backpack. At this moment, Assam also had a new discovery. Lord, I found the refugees captured by the hunters. However, there don't seem to be many left. Assam frowned as he spoke. Upon hearing this, Chao Xing immediately took Lu Muxua along to walk over. They arrived at the front of the innermost tent of the camp. Lifting the curtain, Chao Xing saw several humans tied up inside like pretzels. There were both men and women, and among them, Chao Xing spotted a child. Just as Assam had mentioned, there were only a few left inside. In total, there were only 7 people. Upon Chao Xing's entrance, fear flickered in those humans' eyes, and they began begging for mercy. Please, sir, don't kill us. Sir, I beg you to let us go. Evidently, this group of humans had been terrified by the hunters' methods and were frantically begging for mercy. Chao Xing glanced at their names. Colin Hopper, LV3. Lu Qiao Lure, LV2. Marlon Kuhn, LV2. Survivor, Tong Chu Chu, LV1. When Chao Xing saw the last name, his eyes widened suddenly. Human. Lu Muxua also saw the name displayed above and then said, axing, It seems to be that little girl in the corner. She's also a human from our blue star. Upon closer inspection, Chao Xing noticed that the little girl wore a simple grass coat, but the school uniform underneath still indicated her identity. At this moment, the little girl was still in a state of anxiety, looking at Chao Xing with fear in her eyes. Lu Muxua walked over to comfort her softly. Little sister, we are not hunters. Like you, We are humans from Blue Star. The little girl lifted her delicate face to tentatively look at Lu Muxiue. After confirming that Lu Muxiue was truly a human survivor, she burst into tears. Wah! Daddy was taken away by those masked people, and he'll never come back. Wah! The little girl cried for a while, then seemed to realize something and hurriedly stopped crying. She nervously looked at Lu Muxiue and apologized. I'm sorry, big sister. Choo-Choo shouldn't have made such a loud noise. Please forgive me. Lu Muxiue shook her head, saying with a heartache, It's okay. Can you tell me what happened? Tong Choo-Choo nodded, seeming to organize her words. Then she spoke with her childish voice. Yesterday, I was out with Daddy looking for food, but we hadn't gone far when we were suddenly attacked by some arrows. Then we encountered those terrifying masked people. We were captured. They beat Daddy, and at night they took him away. What she meant by being taken, of course, was being captured by that group of hunters to perform some sinister ceremony. Chao Xing and Lu Muxiue exchanged a glance. It was clear that the girl, having lost her father, had fallen into the hands of these crazed hunters. If Chao Xing hadn't arrived, her fate would have been grim. Lu Muxiue looked at Chao Xing and softly said, Axing, can we take her back to the camp? Chao Xing pondered for a moment, then nodded. The camp was gradually getting on track, and one more mouth to feed wasn't much of an issue. Besides, this little girl was also a survivor, and she might be helpful in the future. Lu Muxiue gently comforted, Little sister, would you like to come back with us to our camp? The little girl named Tong Choo-Choo gradually stopped crying. She asked in confusion, Your camp, does it have food? Choo-Choo hasn't eaten in a long time. Hearing this, Lu Muxiue stroked her head and said, Of course, the lord of this territory is the big brother over there, and he's very powerful. Her tone revealed admiration. Tong Choo-Choo immediately turned her gaze to Chao Xing, with a hint of both fear and curiosity in her eyes. Omicron Zero. Then, thinking of something else, she hesitantly asked, Then, can you take my mom too? Daddy isn't coming back, and Mom is still alone in the camp. Chao Xing was stunned for a moment. Of course, this version was a family team mode. Since Tong Choo-Choo was with her father, her mother must be in the camp too. However, this issue made Chao Xing feel conflicted. After all, human survivors weren't like the natives. They didn't easily rebel against the Lord, and their loyalty could be seen. He understood the teachings that a person's heart is hard to fathom. He was willing to take this little girl because she had no combat power and posed no threat to Chao Xing. If they were adults, it would be more uncertain. Hence, Chao Xing opened the system interface and asked, How can I get other survivors to join my territory? The system prompt appeared at once. The answer to this question is the territory merge function. Currently, there are two methods. Method 1. Invite the other party to join the territory as a new lord, sharing building permissions, resources, and so on. Method 2. Recruit the other party to join the territory as subjects, granting them only simple residence and construction permissions, and they cannot attack friendly units. Seeing the second method, Chao Xing felt assured. Great! I can recruit survivors as subjects into the territory. This way, I won't have to worry about newly recruited survivors causing damage to my territory. Chao Xing looked at the little girl and then asked, Do you remember where your camp is located? The little girl nodded. I remember. Mom taught me how to read the minimap. Our camp is about 5 kilometers from here. Chao Xing and Lu Muxiue exchanged another glance. Being this close explained why they were targeted by those hunters. Lu Muxiue softly asked, Axing, can we go take a look? Chao Xing pondered for a bit. If it's 5 kilometers, we can go. However, whether her mom wants to join our territory depends on her own choice. Lu Muxiue listened, and a gentle smile appeared on her face. She knew Chao Xing would agree. Upon hearing this, the little girl gradually stopped crying and started to thank Chao Xing repeatedly. Thank you, big brother. Choo-Choo will remember your kindness for a lifetime. In this world, after 2 days of brutal survival, she had matured a lot. Chao Xing shook his head and then directed his gaze towards the tent at a few other humans. These were the natives of this world. Chao Xing plainly asked, Do you know Jasmine and Sapphire? The 6 humans on the ground exchanged glances. One slightly older human said, "Yes, they're our companions." Chao Xing nodded. "Good. They are now residents of my territory and were the ones who informed me that you were captured by the hunters. So now, are you willing to submit to me and join my territory?" Chao Xing didn't waste any words. His main purpose this time was to expand his territory's forces. The older human tentatively asked, "Lord, what about the hunters outside?" Chao Xing replied, "As you can see, I have slaughtered them all." The next moment, the humans respectfully said in unison, "We are willing, honorable Lord." Chao Xing nodded in satisfaction, allowing the Talassam to go over and cut the ropes from these humans, freeing them. Recruitment successful. Colin Hopper, Lu Xiao Lure, Marlon Kuhn. Joined your territory, territory population +6. Again, a string of Western names, 3 men and 3 women, made Chao Xing twitch his lips. He directly pointed at the slightly older human and said, "From today, you will be called Chao Yu, Chao Chao San. The women, starting with Sihua, will be called Sihua Wuhua Luhua." These humans looked at each other, then nodded in unison. "Thank you, Lord, for bestowing names." Then, a series of goodwill increase prompts sounded. Chao Xing glanced at their attributes. Subjects, Chao Yi. Level 3. Talent, basic speaking skills, give a speech to calm the subject's emotions. Loyalty, 70. Hunger level, 44. Subjects, Sihua. Level 2. Talent, basic cooking skills, food cooked increases satiety by an additional 20%. Loyalty, 72. Hunger level, 47. Seeing these subjects' talents, Chao Xing's eyes lit up. Goodness, there were actually 2 individuals with special talents. Although the other subjects didn't have talents, their levels were between 2 to 4. The quality of these subjects was very high. In this way, Chao Xing would have enough manpower to assign for building various territory facilities. And after recruiting these people, his territory population cap became 25/50. After subduing all these refugees, Chao Xing noticed a yellowed wooden box in the corner of the camp. Approaching it, a system prompt appeared. The hunter's storage box, white, can be opened. Chao Xing clicked directly to open it. With copper, we can create things like wires and electric lamps. Making some snowfield robots, or even more robots, requires a large amount of copper. At this moment, a yellowed letter appeared in his hand. This was also the last item in the storage box. Light Church's letter, special item. Click to read. Chao Xing clicked on it, and a line of text popped up in front of him. To all followers of the Light God, the Lord has sent a revelation, announcing that the Savior's seed is about to appear. To welcome the coming of the Savior's seed, we will launch a blood sacrifice action in the near future. Please, all Light Church members near the Ice Crystal Kingdom, head to the base near coordinates 71231, 5213, 23719. Once we have enough believers, we will launch an attack on Doran Lake City, offering the whole town's living souls to the Savior's seed. Note, this is a task item. You can send the letter to Doran Lake City to expose the Light Church's conspiracy in advance. After reading the letter's introduction, Chao Xing frowned. Does this mean that group of hunters will soon carry out a massacre, killing all the residents of town? Damn, that's insane. The system suggests I deliver the letter, but I don't even know where this Doran Lake City is. How am I supposed to deliver it? Chao Xing rolled his eyes. Then he checked the coordinates recorded on the letter. Chao Xing let out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness, it's over 200 kilometers away from me. With such distance, it shouldn't affect my territory. However, even though the hunter's base was a distance away from Chao Xing, having such a large, unstable factor in the region was still concerning. After all, he had already witnessed the madness of those hunters. Shaking his head, Chao Xing had no solution at the moment. He could only temporarily set the threat of the hunters aside. At least during the novice protection period, he was safe. Chao Xing, together with Lu Mu Xue and 6 civilians, as well as the little girl Tong Chu Chu, walked out of the tent. Outside, he saw the ground full of corpses and patches of blood. Assam, Andrew, bring these bodies over and burn them, he instructed. The two powerful second-order beings followed Chao Xing's orders and collected the hunters' bodies from the ground. A few minutes later, a great fire blazed, engulfing the entire camp. Seeing the rising smoke, the group of refugees were moved to tears. During their time in captivity, they personally experienced the madness of those hunters. One by one, their companions were taken away, and then heart-wrenching screams echoed from the tents outside. They shivered on the cold ground, fearful that they would be next. But now they were finally free. The little girl, Tong Chu Chu, beside him, had tears streaming down her face. Chao Xing turned to her and said, "Let's go. Take me to your camp." I'll tell you the coordinates, big brother," Tong Chu Chu replied timidly. Chao Xing nodded in response. Then, a group of more than 10 people set off toward the coordinates Tong Chu Chu mentioned. After more than half an hour, from a distance, they saw a bonfire camp in the snow. In this camp, there was only a simple lord's hut, not even a polar people hut. "This is it, big brother, big sister, I'll go get my mom," Tong Chu Chu said and jogged into the bonfire territory. Chao Xing was about to follow when he was stopped by a system prompt. During the novice protection period, entry into other survivors' camps is not allowed. Chao Xing paused, recalling this rule. So they waited quietly outside the territory. After a short while, the Lord's hut door opened. A very tall woman emerged, at least 175 centimeters in height. She was still dressed in jeans brought from the Blue Star and a tight white t-shirt on her upper body. Her curvaceous figure exuded a mature charm. The woman held onto Tong Chu Chu's hand and cautiously approached. There were tear marks on her somewhat mature face, evidence she had cried recently. Chao Xing saw her name. Survivor, Xia Yani V1. As soon as Xia Yani came out, seeing so many people outside the territory, her shoulders trembled. Especially Assam on the Frost Wolf and the bear-like Andrew, which brought her a sense of extreme danger. Xia Yani's face turned pale with fear. Tong Chu Chu tried to reassure her by holding her hand. "Mom, don't be afraid. They're the good people who rescued me from that place. That's the big brother and big sister. They're the Lord's." Xia Yani gradually came to her senses. With teary eyes, she looked at Chao Xing and gratefully said, "Thank you for saving Chu Chu, and thank you, benevolent benefactors." As she spoke, she knelt down with Tong Chu Chu. Chao Xing quickly stopped her. "No need for such courtesy, madam. Chu Chu should have told you. We need manpower in my territory now. If you're willing to join us, you can help build the territory with us and develop together. In return, we will ensure your safety and provide food." Sayani had heard about this from Chu Chu. She gripped the hem of her clothes, seemingly making a decision. Chao Xing didn't rush her. He understood that leaving one's camp and joining a stranger's faction required great courage. After a moment, Sayani softly said, "I am willing to join you. Thank you, kind brother, for accepting us both, my daughter and me." Chao Xing nodded, sending them a recruitment invitation. A system prompt appeared. "The survivor, Tong Chu Chu LV1, Sayani LV1, has joined your territory, population +2. All survivors in this territory have joined your faction and are currently ownerless. Would you like to claim it?" Chao Xing clicked claim. Claim successful. You can now enter this territory. Chao Xing stepped into the bonfire territory, and his eyes landed on a large box nearby. "Open the relic box of Lord Tong Guangrong?" "Yes." Successfully opened the relic box. Obtained wood *54, stones *24, food *3, rat meat *2. These were the last resources of this territory. The remaining supplies weren't enough to support the woman and her child for a day. In other words, if Chao Xing hadn't arrived, this woman would either starve due to the lack of food in a couple of days or freeze to death due to the lack of wood. Chao Xing took a deep breath. This world was full of opportunities, but also full of dangers. At this moment, Chao Xing made up his mind. He must quickly develop his strength and territory, and never let his storage box become a relic box. Chao Xing put away the contents of Tong Guangrong's relic box directly. Then, he looked at everyone and said, "All right, let's hurry back to the territory now." Following the route they came by, they rushed towards the camp. This time, it took them about 2 hours to return. There was no other way. As the more people there were, the slower the pace became. Actually, it was still Chao Xing and the others who had slowed down Assam and Andrew. One was riding the Frost Wolf, the other moved on all fours, and their move speed over the snow was at least over 30 kilometers per hour. While for Chao Xing and the others, reaching 5 kilometers per hour was considered good enough. The moving speed over the snow was indeed a significant problem. Chao Xing pondered, thinking, is there a way to speed up the movement on the snow? He began recalling his experiences while playing games in his mind. A moment later, Chao Xing thought, currently, there appear to be 2 methods to speed up movement on the snow. The first is to tame those wild creatures and make them mounts. The more powerful the creature, the faster its movement speed on the snow. The second method is to develop technology, unlock the Technology Research Institute quickly, and then create snow bicycles, motorcycles, transportation vehicles, and so on through blueprints. Yes, you heard it right. In the mid-game, it was possible to build various technologies. Apart from these vehicles, after 448 days in the game, Chao Xing even built the first helicopter. It was also the longest save file he had ever played. In short, this world was a real one, full of infinite possibilities. When Chao Xing and the others returned to the territory, it was nearly dark. Chao Xing looked up at the time overhead. Time until nightfall. 0 hours, 50 minutes. Beginner protection period remaining. 3 days, 12 hours. The survivors were about to conclude their 3rd day of exploration. That group of polar people, along with Dahua and others, also saw this mighty group of figures. Dahua, upon seeing those familiar faces, immediately exclaimed, "Oh my God, you actually came back." She excitedly flew over, and everyone began communicating as if having survived a catastrophe. At this time, Dazhuang was also holding a hammer, coming up to Chao Xing. "Lord, the bonfire has successfully upgraded, and your Lord's hut is speeding up its upgrade process." Chao Xing nodded and looked toward the campfire burning brightly in the center of the camp. Campfire, level 5. Bonfire effect. Can increase the temperature by 10-20 degrees C within a 160-meter radius. Consumption, 10 minutes/4 wood or 25 minutes/2 coal. Materials needed for the next level. Stone *60, wood *40, iron *20. Under the blaze of the fire, the surrounding snow-covered ground gradually revealed itself. Only on these grounds could more buildings be constructed and various crops planted. Thus, the level of the bonfire determined the territory's area. However, once the campfire upgraded to an energy tower later, its heating range could cover a city's area. And the survivors continually built various buildings, developing the territory. In the future, they might even own a city of their own. Chao Xing nodded with satisfaction and said, "Dazhuang, you've done well. Next, take Wu Zhuang and Liu Zhuang to continue gathering resources. Focus on collecting that coal mine. After the bonfire's upgrade, it will consume a lot of coal, and we need to ensure the camp's heating supply." Polar people Dazhuang instantly stood upright, respectfully saying, "Yes, esteemed lord." Then, he hurried off to work. Chao Xing called Erzwang over. "Erzwang, take Qi Zhuang and Bazhuang and hurry to build more small shelters, cafeteria, and so on, striving to complete them before dark. Ensure our new members have a place to eat and sleep." "Yes, Lord." Erzwang also received the order and went off to work with the others. Chao Xing continued to give orders. "San Zhuang, come over here." 3 beard-faced San Zhuang approached Chao Xing. "San Zhuang, you don't need to build too many things, just construct a basic elemental arrow tower," with Si Zhuang before nightfall. San Zhuang respectfully said, "I assure you the task will be completed, esteemed lord." For a time, those polar people were again busy. At this moment, the newly joined humans had also ended their conversation. Seeing the polar people working in the camp, the slightly older Chao Yi's eyes flickered. Chao Yi hurriedly led the other survivors over and respectfully said, "Lord, please assign us more tasks as well." Chao Xing nodded. "No rush. I know you haven't eaten in several days. Fill your stomachs before work." The newly joined subjects exchanged glances, each seeing surprise and relief in the other's eyes. It seemed it was the first time they encountered such a caring lord. Chao Xing continued, "But there's no cafeteria now, so eat some bread for now." Chao Xing glanced at Lu Muxue nearby. Lu Muxue understood and took out several dozen pieces of bread from the territory resources. She distributed 2 pieces to each new member of the territory. At this moment, Chao Yi and Sihua looked at the bread in their hands, tears welling up in their eyes, feeling deeply touched. Then they all knelt down in unison. "Thank you, kind and generous Lord. Thank you, beautiful and kind second Lord." In the next moment, numerous system prompts appeared in the ears of Chao Xing and Lu Muxue. "Due to your generous donation, the loyalty of territory member Chao Yi has increased, current loyalty 80. Due to your generous donation, the loyalty of territory member Sihua has increased, current loyalty 78. Due to your..." With this wave, all the newly joined refugees increased their loyalty by 10 points. Chao Xing nodded with satisfaction. Nearby, Tong, Chu-Chu, and Xiayani looked at the white bread in the hands of the subjects, swallowing with hunger. They had been starving for a while, equally eager for food. Chao Xing took out 4 pieces of bread from the territory resources and handed them to Xiayani. "Eat something first." This tall woman bent slightly, reaching out to take the bread, gratefully saying, "Thank you, thank you." Beside her, Tong Chu-Chu wore an innocent smile and said, "Thank you, big brother." Chao Xing smiled. After they finished the bread, everyone's satiety level increased a bit. Then, Chao Xing calmly said, "Chao Yi." Chao Yi immediately responded, "My lord, I am here." Chao Xing, from now on, you will take command of this group you brought. Your next task is to continue upgrading the bonfire and collecting resources. Wood, stone, all need to be gathered, and with more manpower available, assist Dazhuang in constructing some basic buildings. Chao Yi quickly nodded, "I understand." Then, Chao Xing looked at Dahua. "Duh, I'll give you these wheat seeds. Take someone and find a place near the territory to cultivate land, then plant these wheat seeds." The cold, white-skinned Dahua took the seeds from Chao Xing's hands, gently stroking them. "These are top-quality wheat seeds, sure to grow in a high-quality wheat." She nodded. "Lord, I will complete the task you entrusted to me." Then, this group of new territory residents began to get busy. Watching the territory brimming with activity, Chao Xing nodded with satisfaction. His territory had grown from a small bonfire to hosting so many subjects, constructing more and more buildings. This was the joy of farming. At that moment, Chao Xing suddenly remembered something and asked, "By the way, is there anyone among you who knows how to sew clothes?" He and Lu Muxue were currently wrapping themselves with wolf skins, which were not very effective in keeping warm. Although the sewing shop had been built now, it needed someone to work there. People with sewing skills could speed up the clothing-making process. However, the polar people and the human natives on the scene all exchanged glances and then shook their heads cluelessly. Chao Xing understood, because when he subdued them, he had already seen the panels of these natives. None had talents related to sewing. Just then, Xiayani raised her hand and softly said, I can." Oh, hearing this, Chao Xing was a bit surprised and then turned his gaze towards her. Xiayani timidly looked down, seemingly too shy to meet Chao Xing's eyes. She softly said, "When I was at home, I often did some handwork to supplement the household, so I can sew a bit." Tong Chu-Chu echoed, "Big brother, mommy's skills are really good. The clothes she makes are very pretty." Hearing her daughter's praise, Xiayani blushed and said, "Chu-Chu, don't praise mommy. Mommy only knows a little amateur technique, not comparable to those professional ones." Chao Xing nodded and then took off the wolf skins from himself and Lu Muxue, handing them to Xiayani. "Then please help me turn these 2 wolf skins into clothes, and see if you can make extra parts into hats or gloves. I can do it. These are prime wolf skins. Xiaoyani carefully took them and tentatively asked, Could I give them to you by tomorrow? Chaoxing nodded. That's fine. Xiaoyani breathed a sigh of relief and took her daughter into the sewing shop. Other subjects also began to busily engage in their tasks. At this time, Lu Musha, folding her arms, stood gracefully by the bonfire, watching as Chao Xing assigned tasks to the subjects. Chao Xing looked up, noticing the sky was darkening as night was about to fall. In this world, the dark hours occupied more than half of the time, with only less than 10 hours of daylight. Mushua, let's go into the hut. Okay. Lu Mushua nodded gently. Then, the two of them entered the warmth of the Lord's hut together. Chao Xing, feeling cold, was the first to burrow into the bearskin bed. Lu Mushua hesitated at her spot, her head lowered, too shy to get close to Chao Xing. Chao Xing noticed Lu Mushua's embarrassment, understanding she needed some time to adapt. So he asked, Mushua, do you want to sleep apart tonight? Hearing this, Lu Mushua widened her eyes immediately and shook her head repeatedly. No, don't sleep apart. After saying that, her face flushed red and, with a shy demeanor, she carefully sneaked under the covers. Lu Mushua held onto Chao Xing's body tightly, as if afraid of being separated from him. Soon, the sound of their slightly rapid breathing filled the room. Meanwhile, this unknown new world was gradually enveloped by the night. It was the second day for all humans globally in this world, and it was about to end. Driven by the level ranking list, a large number of survivors today attempted to step beyond the snowy terrain. Whether with their families or moving forward alone, they cautiously explored near their camps, all gaining some results. And in the region where Area 174 was located, in some corner of this vast ice field, Fang Long, wielding a black iron longsword, slew a wild boar with a single strike. He then glowed with a white light. Hearing the notification of leveling up, Fang Long's eyes lit up with joy. Great! Finally leveled up to level 3 before dark. Since the ranking list was initiated, I've been searching for lone low-level beasts to slay outside. There should be no one faster than me. This time, I must take the first place on the ranking list. Elsewhere, a middle-aged man with a fierce demeanor was leading his family to surround and hunt a foolish deer. This middle-aged man was none other than Zhou Bo from the Skyblade Association. He had chosen the snow hunter profession, fully drawing back his sandalwood longbow. Swoosh! The arrow shot out swiftly, hitting the foolish deer's neck directly. The foolish deer, in pain, bounced around while trying to run away and looked back. Blood scattered on the snow, completely exposing its trail. The foolish deer was quickly caught up by Zhou Bo and was slain under the group hunt by his family. After dealing with the foolish deer, Zhou Bo suddenly received a message. Boss, we've already tabulated the coordinates of the brothers. Within a 30-kilometer radius of your camp, there are 2 brothers whose camps are in that area. If they make some progress today, they should be able to reach you by tomorrow. Zhou Bo's face bore a sinister smile. Great. When those 2 brothers arrive tomorrow, we can team up to kill beasts, greatly improving our leveling efficiency. By then, Fang Long or Wu Xinghu, all would be trampled underfoot by me. After hanging up, Zhou Bo looked at the increasingly dark sky and said to his family, It's getting late. Let's head back to the camp. A large number of survivors ended their day of exploration and returned to their camps. The chat channel also gradually became lively at this time. Su Shu, brothers, it turns out cooperating with family to deal with those low-level wild monsters is not difficult. We've already killed a wild boar today. Enough for our family for a few days. Zhangxi, ha ha ha. I chose the polar warrior, and I got my dad to choose the snow hunter. Our father-son duo is simply invincible. Lindanian, damn. You all got prey, and I'm so unlucky. Just walked out not far and ran into a few frost goblins. Completely couldn't beat them. They chased me all the way. Now, just camping outside my place, this is really killing me. Yang Tao. The brother above seems so miserable. There were some who celebrated and some who worried, but most survivors began to acquaint themselves with this world. Just then, a countdown appeared. The level ranking list is being tabulated, and in 3 minutes, the survival level rankings for each region will be announced. You can check your level and related ranking on the leaderboard. The list will be refreshed in real time. Seeing this system prompt, the survivors' spirits instantly lifted. Luzile, woohoo! Finally, the ranking list is coming out. Who do you think will be first or in the top 3? Shinjun, not sure. I just reached level 2, but getting to level 3 needs 1,000 experience value. A bit terrifying. Yuan Wenli. What else could it be? Of course, it would be our Tiger Hall's boss, Wu Xinghu. I'm telling you, our boss has already reached level 3. Guichong. You from Tiger Hall think too much. Our boss Zhou Bo also reached level 3. This time, the first definitely belongs to him. Chun Hailang. Stop arguing. The first is definitely going to be our boss Fong Long. Hearing these 3 faction speeches, survivors all commented below. Chen Hao. Looks like this time the top 3 already belong to these 3. Xiaobo. Yeah, those reaching level 3 today are all those with strength and resources. At this point, a voice announcement appeared. System announcement. All survivors, please take note. The level ranking list update is complete. System announcement. All survivors, please note. The level ranking list update is complete. Hearing this announcement, survivors across all major regions globally immediately opened the ranking list. Survivors from Area 174 were no exception. However, the rankings exceeded everyone's expectations. Area 174 level ranking list. First place, Chao Xing, level 4, 1%. Second place, Wu Xinghu, level 3, 25%. Third place, Zhou Bo, level 3, 14%. Fourth place, Ren Yishu, level 3, 10%. Fifth place, Fong Long, level 3, 7%. Sixth place. Seeing this ranking list, the chat channel of Area 174 fell into a brief silence. Then, it was flooded with messages. Shenhua, whoa, it's not Fong Long or Wu Xinghu. The first place is actually Big Brother Chao Xing. Tao Mumu. I really didn't expect it. Big Brother Chao Xing is actually first, so strong. Lu Dashu. How did Big Brother Chao Xing do it? Everyone expressed their shock. A survivor named Du Rong said, I think there's no need for everyone to be so surprised. Big Brother Chao Xing is the man who killed a bear. Getting first place doesn't come as a surprise. Haha. I also think Big Brother Chao Xing deserves it. Thanks to his bear meat, my whole family has improved their attributes and not only survived a life and death crisis, but also begun to develop our territory. Exactly. I'm convinced Big Brother Chao Xing is in first place. In the chat channel, the praises toward Chao Xing were nearly unanimous. After all, his bear meat indeed helped many people. At this time, Fong Long and Zhou Bo looked a bit grim. Damn, how did this kid get first? Fong Long's face showed a bit of anger and disbelief, but he quickly regained his composure. Fong Long slowly took a breath and said, Fortunately, it's just a 1-level gap, and there's still 3 days before the newbie protection period ends. Totally enough for me to catch up in levels. On the other side, Zhou Bo also had an intrigued smile on his face. Interesting, I originally thought this kid just had good luck. Offending Fong Long was the end for him. Now, it seems he does have some skills. Zhou Bo opened his friend list, then clicked on the private chat and said, Go. Use your network to investigate the background of this Chao Xing. At this moment, in the Lord's hut, outside the window, the snow reflected light and the cold wind howled. Inside the room, a warm stove emitted heat. The wooden bed creaked, and the temperature under the blankets was rapidly rising. The beauty's face was flushed with embarrassment, turning her head away, not daring to look into Chao Xing's eyes, her hands tightly clasping his neck. Axing. The beauty's call was long and ethereal. The room was filled with the sweetness of the cloud and rain. Moments later, following a long and ethereal coquettish sound, the movement in the room gradually settled. Lu Muxue collapsed into Chao Xing's arms, her eyes full of daze. At this moment, they also heard the system announcement. Lu Muxue curved her swan-like jade neck, her eyes filled with excitement as she said, "Axing, you are in first place. You are awesome." Chao Xing shook his head, unconcerned, "Just a temporary first. Can't relax until I get the rewards." Lu Muxue looked at him admiringly. "That's impressive enough, considering there are tens of thousands in our area, 174. Chao Xing smiled. "Tomorrow we must continue to work hard too. See if we can get you into the top 10 rewards." Lu Muxue nodded slightly, clenching her pink fist in response. I'll do my best." It seemed that the large movement touched certain parts, and Lu Muxue's face reddened again. She cautiously looked at Chao Xing, only to find him looking at her as well. Chao Xing lowered his head to kiss her again. The beauty was gentle and tender, her body gradually relaxing from initial stiffness. Her body writhed like a water snake, and she actively entwined Chao Xing. The night temperature began to drop rapidly. However, the temperature in the room was still rising. The two had a wonderful night together. Early the next morning, Chao Xing saw a few system prompts. Your territory construction, small shelter, has been successfully built. Your territory construction, basic elemental arrow tower, has been successfully built. Chao Xing's eyes lit up immediately. The arrow tower construction was successful. Through the window of the Lord's hut, Chao Xing saw a 15-meter high hexagonal tower appear at the edge of the campfire. The entire tower was made of stone, emanating faint elemental waves, full of deterrence. If any enemy approached within a 600-meter area of the camp, the arrow tower would automatically launch an attack. Very powerful. Chao Xing said with satisfaction, "Great. With this, there's no need to worry about safety near the territory. Those polar people can go out and gather resources better too." Meanwhile, there was a knock on the door. Chao Xing and Lu Muxue had gotten dressed and looked toward the door, saying, "Come in." The subject Sihua brought in a bowl of bear gall soup and a portion of roasted bear meat. Rich meat aroma wafted through the air. Sihua spoke softly. "Lord, I prepare the bear gall soup and roasted bear meat as you requested. Please enjoy." Chao Xing nodded. "Just place it on the wood table." These two ingredients both enhanced attributes. Bear gall could directly increase life value by 200 points, and bear meat could increase power and constitution by 2 points. For Chao Xing and Lu Muxue, they were substantial enhancements. This was also what Chao Xing instructed these subjects to do yesterday. Sihua nodded and then respectfully withdrew. Chao Xing then took Lu Muxue to the dining table. He tasted a few bites of bear meat first. Instantly, his mouth was filled with the aroma of meat. Chao Xing praised, "The professional chef's skills are indeed good." A system prompt appeared. Consuming bear meat, Blue successfully obtained a tribute boost, power +2, constitution +2. Sure enough, he gained an attribute boost. Then, Chao Xing started picking up bear gall from the bowl with his chopsticks. Strangely, even after eating several bites, he did not receive an attribute boost prompt from the system. Chao Xing was a bit puzzled and continued to eat the bear gall. It wasn't until he was almost full that the system prompt appeared. Successfully consumed bear gall, maximum life value increased by 200. Chao Xing showed a pleased expression, "So you have to eat half of the bear gall to gain attribute improvement. Looks like the remaining half can boost again." So he looked at Lu Muxue beside him and said, "Muxue, you come here too. Half of this bear gall should give you an attribute enhancement." Lu Muxue obediently came over, picked up the chopsticks Chao Xing used, and began eating. The bear gall soup was delicious, and it took Lu Muxue a few minutes to finish. Then, she excitedly looked at Chao Xing and said, "Axing, my life value increased too." Chao Xing nodded. A single bear gall brought them a total of 400 points in blood volume increase, quite substantial. Unfortunately, this food only worked the first time it was consumed. At that moment, a system prompt rang. "Survivors, congratulations on surviving the third night of the Ice Seal Age. Remaining time for newbie protection, 2 days and 22 hours. Chao Xing felt a stirring in his heart. There were 3 days left in the newbie protection period, enough time for him to level up to level 10. Lu Muxue softly inquired, asking, "Will it snow tonight?" Chao Xing nodded. "Yes, it will snow, but fortunately, it won't be a storm. With our territory's current facilities, we can withstand it." Lu Muxue nodded gently. Then, Chao Xing led her to push open the door of the Lord's hut together. Outside, the polar people along with the newly joined subjects were already waiting. Seeing Chao Xing come out, they said in unison, "Peace to the Lord." "Good morning, Lord. Please assign us today's work." The subjects were full of enthusiasm. Previously, they lived barely surviving lives. Just arriving on the first day at Chao Xing's territory, they already felt the potential for development. So, they cherished this opportunity very much. Chao Xing nodded. "Today, continue with the tasks I assigned yesterday. Gather more resources to upgrade the bonfire and Lord's hut. Let's work together to build a more prosperous territory." The subjects responded respectfully, "As you command, Lord," willing to sacrifice everything for the development of the territory. They dispersed and began their day's work. At this time, Xiaoyani and Tong Chu, each holding a set of thick clothes, stood quietly by the side waiting. Seeing that Chao Xing had finished assigning tasks, Xiaoyani cautiously approached and said, "Master, the clothes are ready." As a modern person, she seemed not quite used to such titles. Chao Xing nodded. "Thank you for your hard work." "It's nothing," Xiaoyani replied softly. After saying this, she and Tong Chu handed the newly sewn wolfskin coats to Chao Xing and Lu Muxue respectively. "Received wolfskin coat, white, *1, wolfskin hat, white, *1. These two garments had no additional attributes, but they were excellent at keeping warm. After putting them on, they immediately felt isolated from the piercing cold of this world. Looking at the dark circles under Xiaoyani's eyes, Chao Xing knew she must have stayed up late last night. Therefore, Chao Xing took out 2 pieces of bear meat and a bottle of milk and handed them to Xiaoyani. Xiaoyani accepted them, her eyes filled with surprise. Lord, such precious meat and milk. Are you sure I can have them?" Chao Xing nodded. "Chu is still young. Let her have some for nourishment." Xiaoyani's eyes turned slightly red. She held Tong Chu's hand and nodded solemnly. Thank you. Tong Chu also happily hugged the milk, saying with joy, "Thank you, big brother." After arranging the tasks, Chao Xing called Assam over. "Assam, did you find anything else when you went out yesterday besides rescuing Dahua and the others?" Assam replied respectfully, "Yes, Lord, I followed your instructions and drew a map of the surrounding area. However, since I haven't finished exploring, the map is incomplete." Chao Xing was delighted. "Even if it's incomplete, let me see it." Assam nodded and then took out a piece of yellowed parchment from Frostwolf's back and handed it to Chao Xing. A system prompt appeared. "Received incomplete map *1. Chao Xing saw that the map recorded Assam's route. Lu Muxue also peeked over curiously to look at the map. However, upon seeing the simplistic art style on the parchment, she immediately chuckled. It marked some resource points. For example, a tree indicated a place with wood resources. A small chicken symbolized a place with beast activity. A stone stood for a mineral resource location. Thanks to Chao Xing's excellent comprehension ability, he could decipher the meanings. Assam looked a bit embarrassed and scratched his head. I haven't learned drawing, so I could only sketch it simply." Lu Muxue comforted him. "It's fine as long as it's understandable." Assam gratefully nodded. "Thank you, my beautiful and kind deputy lord." At this time, Chao Xing pointed to a dark hole next to the territory and asked, "Assam, what is this?" Assam replied somewhat embarrassedly, "Lord, that's a mine, but it's already occupied by a group of mole men. I heard the rumbling of machines nearby." "Machines rumbling?" Chao Xing's eyes lit up, because this indicated that inside the mine, there might be some technological creations. Chao Xing asked, "Assam, how strong are the mole men?" Assam shook his head. "Back to you, Lord. I didn't go inside to investigate." But the mole men are subterranean creatures, generally around first tier in strength. Occasionally, there might be some second or third tier mole men. After hearing this, Chao Xing already had an idea. The mine was about 6 kilometers away from the territory, taking roughly 2 hours for a round trip. Thus, Chao Xing nodded. Very good. Our goal today is to explore the Mole Man mine. Let's aim to level up Mu Shue and myself. Assam respectfully bowed. Always ready to serve, esteemed lord. Beside him, Andrew's eyes were filled with devotion, and he was also prepared for battle. However, before setting out, Chao Xing had one more thing to do. That was to use the recruitment scroll to strengthen his team's power. Chao Xing pulled a scroll out of his bag. Phantom Assassin Recruitment Scroll. Blue. This scroll can summon a Phantom Assassin with level 20 elite strength. Undoubtedly, this would be the most powerful being Chao Xing recruited. Recruit. Chao Xing clicked yes without hesitation. In a flash, the scene in front of him changed. This time, what appeared before Chao Xing was not a hexagram. Instead, it was a swirl of black mist. The black mist expanded rapidly, engulfing the entire camp in seconds. Chao Xing saw a silhouette moving inside. There was no aura emanating from this figure, yet gave Chao Xing a sense of intense danger. The next moment, the mist dissipated. Before Chao Xing stood a woman clad in a black cloak and tight-fitting black leather armor. The outfit accentuated her perfect body curves. On her head, a dark helmet obscured most of her face, leaving only her bluish skin and slightly rosy lips visible. She slowly spoke. The Shadow Holy Hall needs protection, and that's why I am here. Phantom Assassin Sarah Blade Dance reporting to you. The Phantom Assassin named Sarah gave a slight bow to Chao Xing, holding the 2 shadow blades that emitted a chilling gleam. Chao Xing nodded. Welcome to the team, Sarah Blade Dance. Sarah showed no reaction. Lu Mushua then softly added, Welcome, Sarah. Hearing the voice, the aloof Phantom Assassin turned her gaze to Lu Mushua and responded, Thank you. Beautiful lady, Sarah Blade Dance at your service. Chao Xing rolled his eyes from the side. This Phantom Assassin was quite cool, only responding to Lu Mushua and ignoring him. However, he was already accustomed to these new recruits' cold responses upon joining, allowing a faint smile to slip onto his lips. Then, Chao Xing checked the attributes of this Phantom Assassin. Phantom Assassin, Sarah Blade Dance. Race, Dark Elf. Level 2076-13/100000. Second Order Elite Level Creature. Life Value, 6713. Equipment Bonus. Attack Power, 731-754. Weapon Bonus. Armor, 134-151. Equipment Bonus. Attributes, Power 234, Agility 307, Spirit 227, Constitution 251. Skills, Obstructive Dagger, throws a dagger, dealing 130% attack power damage to the enemy, and reducing the enemy's agility by 135, cooldown time 180 seconds. Phantom Invisible, blurs one's form, hides one's aura, increases evasion probability by 30% in stealth status, and increases move speed by 20%. Duration 5 minutes, cooling time 8 minutes. Blessed Relief, when attacking, has a 30% probability of dealing 225% damage, a 15% probability of dealing 315% damage, and a 5% probability of dealing 432% damage. Talent, Shadow Body, in stealth status, additionally increases evasion rate by 15%. Bonds, Assassin. When there are more than 3 assassins in the team, the trigger probability of Blessed Relief increases by 5% and by 10% when more than 10. Satiety, 63. Loyalty, 59. Chao Xing's eyes showed an unhidden look of astonishment. Clearly, this was a rather terrifying existence. With an attack power of over 700, a random critical hit could even compare to a shot from Barrett. If Blessed Relief triggered, that single strike could directly slice off the enemy's skull. At this moment, Chao Xing couldn't help but remark, This isn't an assassin. It's basically a berserker, taking down enemies with a single stroke. Nevertheless, although Sarah was very strong now, with the permanent talent enhancements from Chao Xing, she could still be improved by several levels. Therefore, Chao Xing looked at Sarah with interest and said, "So, Sarah, I will now apply a blessing effect on you. Are you willing to accept it?" Sarah slightly parted her lips, querying, "Blessing?" Chao Xing nodded. "Indeed." Sarah didn't immediately reply, seeming to hesitate, partly because she didn't trust this new lord, and partly because she doubted in the face of his lacking power what powerful blessing effect could be applied to her. After a brief pause, Sarah lightly nodded. "Very well, please apply the blessing to me." Then, without needing more words from Chao Xing, Yelena applied Snake Man Tribe Frenzy and Scale Armor onto her. Sarah shuddered as she distinctly felt the might of this power. Her thin lips parted slightly before she could speak up. Chao Xing also cast Ice Healing Skill, Ice Armor Skill, along with Lu Mushue's Aurora Blessing. After receiving a total of 5 permanent buffs, Sarah was completely rigid in place. Then, Chao Xing noticed her shoulders trembling slightly. As an assassin frequently engaged in assassinations, Sarah knew better than anyone else the terrifying nature of these permanent statuses. They not only significantly increased her endurance, but also heightened her survival capabilities. Especially Yelena's Snake Man Tribe Frenzy, which was a percentage-based buff. Sarah could feel her move speed and attack speed soaring another level. A heavy breathing sound came from beneath her helmet. Then, she placed the shadow blades in front of her chest and respectfully bowed to Chao Xing. "Thank you for your blessing, great lord. Sarah Blade, Dance pledges loyalty to you." This bow was truly heartfelt from Sarah. At Chao Xing's ears, a system prompt surfaced. "You helped your follower, Sarah Blade Dance, enhance her power. Loyalty increased. Current loyalty, 71. A smile appeared on Chao Xing's face. Then, he turned to look at others in the territory. "Well, let's continue moving now. Target Mole Man Mine." Assam and Andrew both replied, following the Lord's will. At this moment, the aloof Sarah also softly said, "The Shadow Holy Hall will guide me forward." Chao Xing nodded in satisfaction. Then, he took Lu Mushu along with him. 5 figures set out from the camp, venturing into the endless snowy plains. An hour later, the group appeared amidst the boundless ice field. A long trail of footprints was left in the snow behind them. The weather forecast mentioned snow tonight, and these footprints would soon disappear. Chao Xing halted his steps, for they had reached the marked location on Assam's map. It was a snow-covered mountain with what seemed to be a path leading underground at its base. Assam spoke first. "My lord, that is the mine I discovered yesterday." Chao Xing nodded and proceeded with the team. As they approached, a system prompt appeared before them. "Mole Man Mine. Special area. Active with a large number of mole men and some special dangers. Approach with caution." Danger level, extremely dangerous. Once again, an extreme danger warning. However, Chao Xing paid no heed. Compared to his time at Hunter Camp, his power had significantly improved. Chao Xing waved his hand and said, "Enter then." Understanding what he meant, everyone proceeded together towards the mine. With the highest defensive power, Andrew went first, followed by Assam. As for Sarah, she slipped into the shadows upon entering the mine. Chao Xing couldn't sense her presence at all, but he knew Sarah was nearby. Lu Muxiue held up her shield, cautiously watching the surroundings. She understood that her task was to protect Chao Xing from harm. Upon entering the mine, a system prompt appeared. "You have entered a special area, Mole Man Mine. Current temperature, -34 degrees Celsius." The temperature inside the mine was somewhat higher, gradually dispelling the cold within their bodies. Chao Xing noticed a couple of torches emitting a blue flame on the cave walls. "Assam, help me take down those torches." Assam complied. Obtain Magic Stone Torch *1. Magic Stone Torch, a low-energy consumption lighting tool. 1 magic energy stone can provide illumination for up to half a year. Note: you can remove the magic energy stone from the torch,